Hey guys, it's Avengel. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, we are back in 2020, and we're looking today at the Aeroplane Heaven Socata Rallye, the MS-893. Now this is one of their heavy airframe aircraft, and oh my god, seeing myself in the cockpit again of an aeroplane is terrifying. But this is 36 Australian dingo dollars, ballparking about $18 to $20, 15 to 16 pounds. Available from Orbex, Justified, and a couple of other outlets at the moment. I suspect it will also be on the marketplace at some point. This is not available for 2024 at this time, just for 2020. Now, the Rallye, of course, was built by Socata from France, originally developed in the 50s by Marine Saulnier, as the MS-880. And you'll notice they keep the MS name for the type models. Now, 1959, the prototype Rallye first flew. Over 3,300 have been constructed. I do apologise, I have a cold, or quite a bad cold today, so you'll forgive me. Now, the final version was the Rallye Commodore, the 890. This is an 893, of course. Now, in North America, I believe Waco Aircraft Company and BFA marketed and sold the Rallies. But in terms of specs on this model, now, for the one we're looking at, which is the 93, is running with a different engine type, which is not listed here, of course, which is, of course, exactly what, I love dealing with sometimes. But our model in particular, has a max speed of 131 knots, max cruise of 113, a range of 460 nautical miles, and it's powered by a single 180 horsepower Continental 0360 flat 4, driving a two-blade fixed pitch prop. As you can tell, they're fixed gear as well. Now, let's have a look at this on the ground and take a look around, see what we have to play with in terms of options. This boasts a high-fidelity model, beautiful exterior and interior, authentic cockpit details with added effects, PBR materials, and authentic stereo sound pack, not WIs. 12 liveries all here, loads of liveries, in fact some pretty cool ones there. And we're going to take a look and see what this thing can do for us, aren't we? Now, not having a walk-around feature, I have to go back outside for the old classic drone camera wander around. Now, as many of you are going to be thinking, this is an Aeroplane Heaven model, and they have had some issues with derp and mistakes in aircraft in the past, and I'll agree. They've had some absolute clangers. However, their smaller aircraft have not been terrible. I've actually quite liked some of them. Not sure if that's intentional, or a missing bit of texture there in the end. That small bit of triangle on the light looks unintended. Yeah, that looks like it's actually where it's mapped weirdly, because if you look at the back of the... Well, that's our first mistake there. Yeah, look at the back of it there, you can see where it's wrapped around. So the mapping for the lights on the end, wing lights, is off. Otherwise, modelling looks good, but that's not complicated these days. Very, very heavy on the scratches inside the cockpit. Oh, Captain Whiskers is back! Everybody say hi to Captain Whiskers. Oh, I've missed Captain Whiskers so much. I'm sure you all have too. Now, this is the Reichenbach in Switzerland, which is available on the marketplace if you want it. Let's go in the cockpit, shall we? Now, in the cockpit here, we have a couple of cool features. One of which, if we click here, enables the area GPS there, which I love as a feature, because it's the sort of GPS system you'd have in an aircraft like this. An add-on tablet. We've got an instrument thing that's taped over. I would like that to be selectable. Not just taped there as a no option, because it gives you this very kind of second-handy look. It does look like a well-serviced and used aircraft, and I do appreciate that in aircraft. Something that's not straight out of the factory. Now, in terms of competition, this would go alongside the Grumman Tiger that's available for 2020. And the prop stuff not fitted, so it's not a variable pitch one, so that doesn't function, which is a nice, version of it being modified. The texture detail is decent on the inside. The weathering is good. I don't like these massive kind of icons showing what... Oh, that's problematic for the fuel pump. Could we have come up with slightly less offensive logos for the fuel pump, maybe? Especially given that it's in English and... Even though it's a French aircraft. English and German. Ein, aus. On, off. I mean, up here it says cet avion d'utilities conformant. Yeah, so it's in French, entirely there. French there. French. French. Everything's French. German there. Okay. So we've got some options going on here. German for the switches. English, French, German. This is absolutely the perfect aeroplane to fly in Switzerland, because it can't work out what language it wants to use. And it's probably good to butcher all three of them. So, flap lever down here. Fuel selector down there. And now, cool feature, if I open this first. There we go. Drag this open. If we click the fuel caps, we can actually fill the fuel tanks. If we look here at our... Oh, I thought it was meant to actually do something. It doesn't actually do something. It says it's filling it, but it doesn't actually change anything, so that's interesting. So it says fill, but it doesn't actually fill, even though the description in the actual manual says it's filling it. So this is not. But it's a cool feature. So you've got the ability to open the tanks and have them filling. But nothing actually happens. It's just a cool looking feature. So I do like the area GPS. That is a cool thing to me. It uses the stock area system, of course, in there to operate, which is nice enough. Right, let's close our canopy. And we'll get ourselves going. So, battery to on, which it is down there. Turn my avionics off because I forgot to have that set to off. Standby on there. Everything is good here. Mags to on. Or mixture to in. Sorry, mags to on. And this should be a simple case of, in theory, I should actually do this first. 1 and 2 and 3. Clear prop. Oh! That... Hang on a second. Did I just start an old Bedford lorry? Or did I just... Was that an old Bedford lorry? Or in this case, an old Citroen van? Or did I just start an aircraft engine in Flight Sim 3? Because that sounded like an aircraft starting on a Commodore 64. Sounds much better on the outside, but the interior sound for that was horrible. Okay. Right, so other than so far, negatives are there's a couple of derps on the exterior texturing. I don't like the fact you can only have the gaffer taped over hole in the kind of thing there. It's a worn aircraft and that's the only option you get, fine. The extreme on the outside scratching doesn't look too bad here, but we'll see once we get into the light. Otherwise, let's get ourselves rolling here and get taxiing for takeoff, shall we? Now we're just down the valley from Interlaken here. Interlaken back. I was going to introduce you to a new character for reviews. Marie. My French test pilot. In fact, you know what? I think Marie is going to take over for today. Because Avengel has a sore voice. So Marie will do it for us. Go to taxi down here. We remove the stop baguettes from the wheels. We use those so we use stale baguettes from the bakery to make sure the airplane does not roll away when we park it. Yes. Very good use for stale baguette. I hope I'm not offending any French people, by the way. If I am, I mostly apologise. Maybe. Moving swiftly on. Okay, so we'll taxi down here to the end and we'll turn for takeoff. The roll up around the top here of the cockpit is a little on the heavy side with texture, but low on the resolution side, so it's a little chunky for the weathering. The frame feels quite small, but appears to be low in polygon. Oh, for God's sake, screw this. Kind of low in polygon on parts, because you can see some angles here. In what should be a smooth compound curve, you've got at least 1, 2 distinct corners right in your eyesight there, which are a bit unfortunate. Now, it feels quite confined. Like, I feel quite... Oh, God. Taxi got thrown into the runway. I feel quite big in this airplane. Like, I feel like I can stick my head out the roof. I can stick my head out the roof. I'm not sure if this is the correct height, but I think it probably is the correct height for me. I think I'd stick to doing my accent for this and test pilot Marie Baguette if I didn't have a sore throat. I am battling a sore throat at the moment. And it's painful, so we're going to get this review done so you guys can see what the plane's like. It's not super expensive as add-on, but it's not cheap either. So our flaps down there. Like, I don't think we're going to get a ton of updates for it, but it's not impossible that we could get updates. Now that's something that confounds me. Why do we have bits of texture here, here, and here, and what is ostensibly a hole filler texture for the back of this, and we've got bits of texture sticking out? Like it's been borrowed from elsewhere, and it doesn't know what it's doing here. Interesting. That's our parking brake down there, of course. Can't remove these sticks, but we don't really need to, so that's fine. Right, let's get going, shall we? Quite quiet on the engine. Speed's not particularly a concern. It's very bouncy here on takeoff roll. This is the default camera view, by the way. Okay, coming up now. Now, we're a bit off center here, so I'd probably be down here. Oh god, that's a tree. I need to look around for things. See, this feels like a much more natural flying position. A little bit further forward in the seat, because you're not sitting up against the back of the headrest. It's tiny notch lower down, and a little bit forward, and this feels a lot better. So this, to me, feels a lot more natural for seating position, compared to other aircraft of similar sizes. This feels like I'm zoomed out and very centered. You see what I mean? So even just doing that, it puts me back more in a normal position here. So, flaps down there. And I'm not sure what it is, but the resolution on that area looks quite low. Something seems odd about it. Maybe it's compressed. That looks fine. Let's go outside, take a look at it, shall we? So she's a good-looking aeroplane, especially in flight. I do like the Marine Saunier and Socata style aircraft. The Socatas are quite good-looking. Exterior sounds aren't terrible. They're not great. Considering we have 360s in the sim, it feels like we could have borrowed a stock 360 sound and it would have been fine. I believe that Robin could possibly be a candidate for that. But I know the interior sounds are very waspy and tinny. Not as pleasant as I would consider them. And of course we don't have working down there. I've seen this in a few of AH's aircraft, the big marker symbols for things. I'm not sure I like it, but it's a style choice. Okay. So she's not bad. We'll take her back around here. We'll set ourselves up for an approach to land back at... Come back over there. It's a GA aeroplane. Most of them fly very similarly once you actually get up into the air. Although I will do a quick stall test to see what it's like. So I'll just gain some altitude first. And we'll get over the centre of the valley so we have more room. Auto slats are a feature of this aircraft, by the way. These do function. You'll see them on our approach. This front leading edge of the wing section here will extend and retract as it slows down. In fact, you'll see it as we're going to do a power off stall here. So you'll see as we hold our pitch attitude and pull the power back, the slats go out to provide low speed performance. And they retract there. I think as we reach the stall point, which is interesting. So holding that all the way back. And the slats have retracted, which is quite weird. Maybe it's detected we actually have an issue. I'm not getting a stall horn of any kind. We're just mushing very hard. There we go. Now we're going to go full on the flaps here. I'm going to full power on stall this thing with full flaps, see what happens. Oh, drops a wing there. Okay, we're okay. Kein problem. Okay. All good. All good. And yeah, it's just mushy. No stall horn, which is, I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I don't know if the Marine Saunier or the, Socata is meant to have no stall horn, but it does not have one. The stall's very mundane, unless you are stalling hard with dirty aircraft, at which point it apparently will try to drop a wing on you. But a clean stall, it's very placid, very gentle in that stall, so that's not too bad at all. Trim behaviour is decent so far. How narrow this valley is, we'll just fly down the valley a bit and then keyhole it back for our approach. Should be okay there. Move it down to our side. Like I say, exterior-wise, she looks very good. It's a nice-looking aircraft. The glass is a little milky, perhaps. Actually, yes, the glass is slightly milky, I'd say. Not a bad-looking aeroplane. Not a bad looking at all. I'm glad the interior reflections and scratches aren't as severe as the outside. A few of Aeroplane Heaven's aircraft in the past have had very heavy ones and they've not looked very good. So it's nice that this doesn't have that. Okay, power down here. One notch of flaps. And we're going to spiral our turn down here, so we'll get 2 notches of flaps here for a second. There go our slats in and out. Now, our slats should really be out at this speed. We're about 60 knots. There's the runway. Should be a nice gentle turn around here to kind of spiral into final with the way the valley's behaving. I'm burning a lot of this altitude as I turn. Speed's only just about 70 knots, which is fine. A little fast, but we'll bleed that in a second once we straighten out. There we are. It's starting to come down now. The slats gently extending themselves. I do like that. It's a good implementation of the slats. Now, the fact they vanished so spectacularly at such a low speed difference is quite interesting. I'm not sure if that's meant to be happening that way, but it does indeed. My first landing in FS 2020 in quite a long time. My first flight in 2020 in a long time. And my last with an RTX 3070 Ti. In both sims. Okay, watch the display threshold on the line there, and we'll flare. Little floaty. But gentle enough. Not bad. Not bad. I think the eye position feels a little bit weird, but that's my only real observation I'd make. I think it feels far too far back and too... yeah. There we go. So we do get an audio change, by the way, with the cockpit open, which is nice. We'll taxi her over here to the parking area. So what do I think? I liked some stylistic options in terms of the cockpit where you've got the tape over bits. I don't like the look of that. If I owned this aircraft, I would not just have tape over a gauge hole. I'd put a blank in, because there are plenty of blanks in the aircraft here. Put a blank in. Or at least use black tape so it looks less like a Mad Max customization. The fueling doesn't seem to actually do anything, which is fine. It's a cool option, but it's not doing anything. A couple of little texture glitches here and there. The interior sounds, especially the starting sounds, are not very nice at all. But in all, it's a nice French GA aircraft. If you like GA aircraft and you like French GA aircraft, it's perfectly acceptable. And I think you'll have a great time with it if that's the case. Otherwise, perhaps not. So, if you wanted a high-fidelity GA aircraft, I recommend either the Grumman Tiger or any number of other fantastic GA singles we have released, including things like Orbex's fly-by-wires, fly-sim wares, or A2A. Any of the other aircraft we have as an option. But if you want a French one, I recommend either this or Lionheart's Trinidad and Tobago, which is very nice as an aircraft. But it's not bad. It's not awful. It's not good, but it's not awful. And, yeah, there's our Angel again. I forgot how terrible I look in this sim. And say hi to Captain Whiskers, the true star of all these videos. It took an Aeroplane Heaven aircraft to bring Captain Whiskers back. That says a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.